Okay, today we have a couple priorities, and they're going to be Sugarloaf. We've had a couple of slopovers down there that have become problematic. We have out here on the Lost Pipe, we have some issues out there. And then yesterday, while we were out doing a recon flight, we found a fire. The pork fire had jumped its containment line and was about 2 acres outside the box. That is controlled, or contained rather. We will have resources out there. We have combined branch 1 and 2. We are in patrol status and trying to make sure that everything we have out here stays that way, controlled. And down here, branch 3, we'll be working on the ore area and again, maintaining what we have. But specifically, we are keeping a close eye on the Sugarloaf. We have a little bit of a weather change, but the fuels are real dry, and we are getting spotting. On the Sugarloaf, we had spotting about a quarter mile out, so be aware of that today. Thank you.
Well, we're still in the red flag warning through 2200 tonight, and I anticipate that tonight will be the end of that, and don't expect to extend that anymore. We're expecting another hot and dry day today, and there are some changes on the horizon, though. At least for today, we did lose quite a bit of smoke yesterday, and although you can't really tell looking out here, expecting to see quite a bit more sunshine on the fires again this afternoon, and with that more wind like we saw yesterday. The fires that were suspect to the winds, Sugarloaf, and some of the fires up here, anything that was really affected by those west and northwest winds, we'll see similar conditions again today, I suspect, and maybe a little earlier in the day as we get more heating on those slopes and canyon sides this afternoon. Looking for the winds to pick up more about 1100 versus like we saw yesterday versus later in the day that we saw earlier in the week. So looking for more similar wind conditions this afternoon, and again, another very hot and dry day. It's a little cooler here this morning, but I still expect temperatures to exceed about 100 degrees in the valleys, about 100, 105 later today, and RH is down around 10% again. We did get some offshore flow last night, so we're starting out dry, especially along the ridge tops and upper slopes where we're seeing about 20-25% humidity this morning. So again, hot and dry again today. And the one thing that we are going to see tonight is we have a stratus developing off the coast down in the Bay Area, and we look for that to just scream up the coast overnight tonight and get up as far as possibly Cape Mendocino by tomorrow morning. And that will certainly cool and moisten things off on the near coast region by tomorrow. However, I don't see a lot of that transferring inland. It'll probably be mainly confined to the near coast region, at least for the next day or so. And so that leaves the interior areas still very hot and dry for the next couple of days. Just not as bad as that we've seen the last few days as the ridge starts to break down.
Good morning. As Imad just said, we're going to have another day of intense warming and drying. And we've got increasing amounts of fuels that are going to become available each day. Just think of an oven. You put a bunch of fuel in there, and each day some more of it's drying out, more of it's drying out. As it gets down to the burning range, you're going to see more fuels become available for burning. And that's what's happening out here. Out here, like out here on the pork fire, you know, we're seeing stuff that we thought was done and continues to dry out. And as it continues to dry out, we're going to have more issues throughout the complex. The red flag warning until 2200 hours, that's an indication of extreme fire behavior, is potential. New pockets of fuel are becoming available to freely burn each day. The biggest concern, what we've seen yesterday and what we'll see today, is spotting. That's our biggest challenge to fire suppression efforts. The probability of ignition on the coast is going to be at 70%, and out here inland is going to be 100%. Anything over 50% is considered significant. And yesterday we had issues with spotting. Today we'll have it once again. The triggers for spotting is number one will be torching. Anytime we see torching out there, we're going to see spotting. We could see spotting distances up to a quarter mile. The other trigger for torching is RHs under 20%. Yesterday, since the RHs, the relative humidities, got down below 20%, that's when we started seeing torching. So torching, spotting, tied right together. The other thing yesterday that we saw, and we'll see today, is that the smoke starts to clear. The sun starts to heating the fuels and start heating the slopes. And we start heating the slopes, that's when we get the upslope winds. And yesterday, it started about noon, 1 o'clock. Today it's going to start a little bit earlier. The winds aren't going to be any stronger, but it's going to start earlier in the day. And so I expect yesterday's activity to advance maybe 1 hour earlier. The burning period is still right around 1,300 hours to 1,900 hours. However, the most intensive time is going to be right around 2. That's when the RHs are lowest, and that's when the upslope winds and the general winds will be strongest during the day. Yesterday we saw short runs with torching, and today we'll see more of that. I have some concerns out here in the lost pipe, and that is because right around there, just to the south, and to the north is some pretty heavy slash loads. I mean, we're talking heavy slash loads, 60 to 80 tons per acre, bone dry stuff. The resistance control out there would be pretty hard to put control lines in there. RH recoveries, that's where the cavalry is going to come in, at least along the coast. The RH recoveries in the valley bottoms are going to be 70 to 80%. That's going to be really good. The rest of the area out here, I don't see very much RH recovery during the nighttime. What that means is where we have poor RH recovery, we're going to see free burning during the nighttime. Aircraft visibility is going to be poor before 11 o'clock, then it's going to start to improve, and it's going to get better during the day. Have a safe day. Thank you.
Good morning, folks. Turn to your safety message in the IEP. What you're going to see is a return to a basic message that you've probably seen off and on through the weeks